Hey guys, I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to use Google Slides because we're going to use Google Slides in our classroom to create interactive notebooks. But I didn't want to throw the interactive notebooks at you without first kind of exploring Google Slides with you. So first of all, what is Google Slides? Well, it's what I use to create my Bitmoji classroom. So if you remember the Bitmoji classroom, it started out looking something like this. This is actually how I created my Bitmoji Google Classroom banners, but it's the same process. I have a bunch of slides that I reformatted, and I added a bunch of little guys to them that in different formats kind of creates a slideshow. And Google Slides works in a really cool way. If you have an add-on, you can make a movie image from your slideshow. Like if you needed to upload it to Facebook or upload it to YouTube, instead of having a slideshow, you have a movie that goes through your slides. So Google Classroom is really actually pretty cool. So we're going to learn how to use it today, but it's going to be a little bit different with you guys. With our notebooks, we're going to orient the pages a little bit differently. Right now, it looks like a slide. It looks, it's widescreen, but you can actually change the size and orientation of your slides. You simply go to. Okay, so what you do to change the slide orientation is you actually go in and click on the slide or click on File. I'm sorry, and you go down to Page Setup, and that will open up how you want your slideshow to look. Now we do custom, and a piece of paper is 8.5 by 11 inches. So when I do your notebooks, I'll change it that way, and I'll shoot you a copy. But just in case you need to know, that's how to do it. You have a toolbar across the top. You can change, transitions between slides, the theme of your slides if you don't want to have a background. You can change the layout of your slide, and you can give it a background image. I'll talk more about that in just a second. Other things that are important across your toolbar is that you can add a comment. You can also add notes down here in the notes section. And you can also add shapes, lines, obviously different kinds of shapes. This is a quick access to your image inserter and text box inserter. And then you can go back to cursor. And for this assignment, I'm also going to copy this. I'm going to send every one of you a copy in Google Classroom so that you have what I'm doing right now to work with. So you're not just starting from scratch, okay? But we're going to kind of create a Google slideshow that represents us. You're going to create one that represents you. Just to talk about yourself a little bit. I talked about myself all day yesterday, and now it's your turn. So to get you prepared for keeping notebooks in the class, I thought we could do a little assignment with Google Slides. So I'm going to start you off by taking a look at the first slide. Now the first slide, once I try to click on it, nothing happens because I've added it as a background by choosing an image. Now if you do that, it's good in that it locks the background, and then what you can do from there is if you want the same background on all of your slides, you can actually add it to theme, which is right there, and it will copy that to all of the slides you have in your slideshow. If you don't want to do that, then you can add it as an image. Now, it's important to do one or the other for this presentation because of the way I set it up. The white space in this image is actually transparent. That means you can see through it. So if I add an image, if I go to Insert, Image, and you can do this one of two ways. You can search the web. If you guys don't understand how to save images to your computer, search the web for generic images that you want to find. Like I typed in theater screen curtains, and this kind of stuff comes up, which is kind of similar to the one you have. Or you can type in Andy Griffith, and that pops up. It's not going to give you exactly what I'm doing, but it gives you a roundabout idea. So is this assignment about Andy Griffith? No, do not put Andy Griffith in your assignment. This assignment is about you. So why am I talking about Andy Griffith? Good question. When we go through the slides, you're going to see that I have the option of inserting an image. And again, you can do that by searching the web, but I have a particular picture that I want to use. I want to show it to you. It's actually the title of a movie that Andy Griffith appeared in, and it's called A Face in the Crowd. And when I put it on here and I make it bigger, whatever I do will not be as good as what I'm going to do next, because this just looks like a picture slapped onto another picture. It's not very nice. Okay, so let's cancel that out, and it looks okay, but you can't really get it perfect. So my other option was this. I'm going to the next slide now. Now this image you can click. Notice the rectangle, the blue rectangle. I can move this image. Okay, so it's not a background, it's an image itself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to add that same image from the first slide. You can insert the image, or I'm just going to copy and paste. You guys can do that by selecting the image, hitting Control-C, and then you can go back down, paste the image by selecting Control-V, or you can simply right-click or double tap on your trackpad and click Paste. So now this image is in my slideshow, and what I can do with this is I can right-click on the image and I can give an order to it. I can send it forward, or I can send it backward. I can rotate it. What I need to do is I need to send it backward. Now look what happened. Okay, if I move this one out of the way just for a second and get the one behind it, I can actually move it where I need it to go. And this takes a little bit of finagling. You kind of have to work with the images. So I'm going to move the first image now. And if you notice, that image okay, so now I have my background image and my picture that I want to show, and I just want to make it just a little bit bigger so that it covers the white space. So that's what you're trying to do. Okay, so I can bring that down just a little bit, and you got to keep working with it, like I said. But the final result is much better. Now this looks like a movie image. It looks like I'm actually looking at a screen in a movie theater rather than having a picture slapped on top of another picture. Okay, and I've done that with my other images as well. This is one I actually took from that movie, A Face in the Crowd, which is a movie about a guy who rises to fame and then falls back down on his face, basically. He lets the stardom overcome him. His name is Lonesome Rhodes, and he's really country. He's a singer, and he's a pretty big star. And I actually have a YouTube video of part of that movie, which I'm going to kind of show you how to add in just a second. If I click on this image, it'll actually take me to YouTube when we're in presentation mode. But right now, how to add that, if you guys look at your bar across the top, once you click something, look, now I have nothing up here. But when I click this image, that changes, and I'm able to select a link. So you can do some stuff with the picture, but you can also add a link. So what I want to do is I want to add the link. It's already there. I got it from this YouTube video. And it's going to allow this big image, when clicked, to take us to the video. Now, why did I put it on the big image and not the small image behind? Because the big image is covering the small image, and I can only click on the larger image. That's why I had to keep moving it out of the way. But that doesn't matter, because whenever someone clicks on the screen, it'll take us to the video. You can add a couple other things. In this slide, I added a call out. How do you do that? I'll go back to the other one, and I'll just show you. You go to Shapes, which is right here. You go down to Callouts, and you can select whatever you want. You can incorporate it in the picture, and you can manipulate it however you want using the tools. Messed up, so this is a good time to talk about this important button up here. This is your undo redo button. I can actually undo that mess up that I just had, so that's important. But we're not going to work with this slide. We're going to work with the next slide. So I've added a call out. Next step would be for me to add text. So my toolbar has a quick text feature. And, he says many obnoxious things in the movie. One thing that he may say is this, I'm just a country boy, which is true. He says a lot of other things that are not as nice, but you can work with your toolbars to align it like how you need to align it, and you can move it so that it looks nicer, and you can even change the font so that it looks more like it belongs in the image. So we did that, and then I've left you guys with a slide that is blank. It has the other slide in it, so you can click that and you can move it around, and you can put pictures behind it, and you can move it back so that your images appear behind the main image. If you'd like to do that, which I think would be, I'm trying to get this aligned. I think that would be great for you to work with. But if you wanted to take the first image and just slap your pictures on there, that's fine too. And then I've given you a instruction slide. This instruction slide will probably change. I'll give you some other instructions, and I'll give you some more detailed instructions. Basically, this is all about you, because you are the face in the crowd now, and I don't want you to be just a face in the crowd. I want you guys to rise to stardom in my classroom. So yesterday when we got on Zoom and I saw some of your little thumbnail images, I didn't know who some of you were until I looked at the name, and I was like, oh, I've known this kid for years. I want to get an inside track to what you're thinking and what you need, and how you feel about class. So that's why we do these virtual learning opportunities. And you guys are going to get a copy of this slideshow. You're going to manipulate it yourself. You're going to fix one on your own, and you're going to send it back to me. And then we're going to kind of go over them and show them to everybody. So you're going to add some pictures. You're going to add some text. You're going to talk about your hobbies, your interests, those kinds of things that allow us to get more detailed information about you, because you're not going to be just a face in the crowd. Okay. So what happens when we get done with this? Well, you can present it in a couple of different ways. You can save it as a web page, or you can present it as a slideshow, and then the YouTube links work and all that stuff. I'm going to show you that video I was going to show you a minute ago, and just kind of show you that the links actually do work, and it looks really neat when you put that transparent image on top, show those pictures behind that transparent image. Check this out. So we'll go to the first image. All right, so this is that first image. It's not, all that clean, obviously. That picture looks like it's slapped on, but when we go to the next slide, it looks much better. It looks like I'm actually watching a movie starring Andy Griffith as Lonesome Rhodes. And, he speaks a lot, but this is one of his songs. And I'm going to click this now, and it should take you to YouTube. Let's see if it works. Yep.
Ten 10,000 miles away from home, and I don't even know my name, but I ain't crying.
Okay, so that's pretty much Google Slides in a nutshell. This is that blank slide that I gave you just to let you further produce your presentation here. This is your instruction slide. You're going to get a different instruction slide. This is just a tutorial to walk you through that idea. So I think this was where I added maybe a text box, or yeah, you just kind of add a text box about your name, and I think that background should have went there. So we can like click on this, we can copy it, and we can put that back in that slide, so it kind of looks like it's inside the movie screen. I think that's why that's there. But if you have any questions, just let me know. Google Classroom, live grades, raise your hand in Zoom. Lots of different ways to ask questions. Hopefully this tutorial helps while you are working on your Google Slide document. Let's see. You can access your Google Slide documents through the waffle on Google Classroom. If I don't shoot it to you out on Google Classroom and you ever want to work on a document on your own, like a presentation in class, the waffle on Google Classroom will take you right there to Google Slides, and everything saves on your Google Drive. So our G Suite, our Google stuff, is set up perfectly for us to be able to talk with one another and produce things like this. So again, good luck, and hopefully this helps, and I'll see you guys when you're done.